It's always interesting to look back on the new Super Mario Bros. Series, as you have 4 2D platformers that on their own are pretty good games. Some of them amazing. However, as of recent, many people look at this series in a more negative light, as it definitely overstayed its welcome. But out of all of the games, perhaps the least most talked about, and from what I've seen online, the most hated, has to be New Super Mario Bros. 2. But why? There's a few reasons, and to understand this fully, it's important to look back on the other games. New Super Mario Bros. Is the only game in the series that isn't a big fat liar. It's actually new. Praised at the time of its release in 2006 for proving that 2D Mario still deserves to exist alongside 3D Mario, selling over 30 million copies and becoming the best-selling DS game of all time. Truly a remarkable 2D platformer that introduced many kids into the world of Mario and a crippling gambling addiction.
Wow!
New Super Mario Bros. Wii, released 3 years later in 2009, known as the sequel playable on the big screen, and the first mainline Mario game to feature true co-op gameplay with up to 4 players. It was nice to have a sequel to the original on a home console with co-op, some new ideas. Yeah. All was good at this point. Then we have New Super Mario Bros. 2 announced, and well, it's definitely not new at this point, and it's not the second game either. It's the third. But you see, the problem here is not only were people complaining that this looked the same as the last one, but there was another game releasing 3 to 4 months after, not even giving this game a chance to shine. So it's no wonder people really talk about it. But is New Super Mario Bros. 2 a bad game? And does it deserve to be remembered more? New Super Mario Bros. 2 opens up with Mario and Luigi waving goodbye to Peach as they fly off to have a jolly good time collecting some coins. When they return, the Koopalings suddenly appear and kidnap Peach, causing Mario and Luigi to chase after them. Straight away, the opening cutscene teases the main premise of the game. Coins, coins, coins. So get ready to collect a lot of them because they are absolutely everywhere. I don't know if Wario took over during development or what, and by the way, I will never forgive the developers for not having Wario be the villain in this game. Like, what a missed opportunity. That is literally his whole shtick. Money. And this would have helped New Soup 2 stand out more alongside the other games. Or Mr. Krabs would have been cool too.
Money!
I don't know if it's just me, but I find collecting the coins, seeing that number rack up and all the coins stacked up on the title screen so satisfying. The reward for getting 1 million coins is a gold Mario statue, and if you're even crazier, you can reach the maximum number possible, being 9,999,999 to receive a gold raccoon Mario statue. I mean, it's better than gold poop, I suppose. Other than the traditional method of picking up coins, you can use the new power-up in this game, the Gold Flower, which is probably one of my favorite power-ups ever. It's basically an overpowered fire flower where the fireballs explode when hitting blocks or enemies. Also, when the enemies are defeated, they will shoot out coins, making this so satisfying to use. Seriously, try it out and you will fall in love. This is also the first and only game to feature the gold ring. No, not that type of ring. This one turns all enemies golden, making them leave behind trails of coins. I especially love throwing a Koopa shell and getting a long line of coins to collect, or the Lakitu, who instead of throwing spinies down just throws coins instead. There's also the gold block, which you can wear over Mario's head, giving you free coins as you move around, eventually dropping off after you've got 100 coins from it. I adore these items and really wish they were brought back in a future 2D or 3D title, especially the Gold Flower. Gameplay wise, Mario feels great, the controls are tight and feels very similar to past entries, but annoyingly is missing the mid-air spin introduced in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It sounds like a minor nitpick, but I noticed that straight away because I use it all the time as a way to avoid things or make larger jumps. It was added back in New Super Mario Bros. U, so yeah, I don't know why it skipped this one. Graphically, yeah, the game looks fine, it's just an early 3DS game. Soundtrack wise though, this is where it becomes apparent they were pretty lazy, and most of the tracks here are just reused. If they at least had a different soundtrack, it would have helped this game stand out more, but they definitely cut corners here. The music used in the results for Coin Rush though, that is a slapper and a half. Listen to this. There are 6 main worlds, and all of the typical themes are here, like your grass, desert, and snow worlds, etc. New Super Mario Bros. 2 smartly combines worlds, which makes things a little more refreshing. For example, the water world starts out as just your typical water levels, and then transitions into jungle levels towards the end. The sky themed world transitions to more mountainy style levels at the end. The reason I like this is because not only does it mean we don't have an entire world dedicated to just water or jungle levels again, it allowed space for some of my favorite levels in the game, originating from 2 unique worlds, the Mushroom World and the Fire Flower World. These are accessible through the cannons you unlock from secret exits, and these mini stages where you are transitioning to the special world after being shot out of the cannons are absolutely incredible. These are perhaps the most memorable stages for me, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. The aesthetic is cool, and they can be a bit of a challenge when you are sprinting through them trying to avoid the different enemies and obstacles. It's a shame there wasn't more unique levels like this. Thankfully, the stages in these special worlds are a lot more exciting and allow the developers to experiment a little more, instead of having to stick to this strange, strict theme rules that all of the games have. The best world by far has to be the Star World, which is unlocked by beating the final boss and paying up 90 star coins to enter. Like the opening level that takes place at night with all of the bricks everywhere straight away stands out, as it's different from all of the other levels we're used to seeing over and over again. Or the swampy ghost level, the underwater castle. These prove that this game has its own ideas and could stand out from the rest if it wanted to. It's just a shame the main levels don't follow this trend and are mostly plain, simple, and forgettable. Enough about levels though, let's talk boss battles. Here we have the World 1 Tower boss fight. Aw, it's Reznor from Super Mario World. That's cute that they brought him back, I guess. Now let's try the World 2 Tower boss fight. Okay, there's 4 of them now, still kinda easy though. The World 3 Tower boss fight. The World 4 Tower boss fight. The World 5 Tower boss fight. And finally, this one surely has to be different, right? The World 6 Tower, but did they really just reuse this same dumbass dinosaur for every tower? Even the main Koopaling bosses are easy and basically just the same thing, some even being reused from the Wii game. The final boss is fine, I suppose. I had much more fun with the final level itself, where the Koopalings are flying in the clown car, and if you don't hide behind the walls in time, you'll get turned to stone. A really fun idea that definitely outshines the boss in my opinion. The final boss in the Star World reuses this same formula. The Koopalings part of the stage is much more challenging though, making you have to jump up in time at certain parts to avoid being turned to stone. I do think this is a really cool idea, so I'm not too mad that they reused it and just added a bit more difficulty to it. I was kind of hoping that the boss at the end would be different, or at least have some type of twist to it, but it's just the same thing with Dry Bowser and just a bit more difficult, which, yeah, it's always cool to see Dry Bowser, I guess, and it's not the end of the world. But overall, yeah, the bosses for this one are pretty bad, but this isn't a problem with just this game. No, not at all. This is a problem with most 2D Mario games, unfortunately. Not all of them, but most of them are just very simple and basically the same thing. Even Super Mario Wonder, my favorite 2D Mario game with such creative and unique levels, has some of the worst and most boring boss fights I've ever seen in a 2D Mario game. So maybe Nintendo need to have a long hard think about how they can improve on this for the next one. In terms of difficulty, Yeah, this game, to be expected, is pretty damn easy. But it is a new 2D Mario game, come on. If you want a real challenge, try scrolling through the Nintendo Switch eShop and see if you can go 10 seconds without finding a hentai game. Found one. I can't believe I've gotten this far without talking about Coin Rush yet. This is such a fun little side mode which really helps rack up those coins. The main packs are reused levels from the main game, but it is fun to keep replaying these over and over again to see how many coins you can collect. Where it gets extra spicy is the DLC. This is where Nintendo really started to experiment with downloadable content, and this is pretty fun DLC.
There's loads of different packs to enjoy here, which are some of them genuinely fun and do make the game a lot better. But this is the Impossible Pack, only for pro players. Now, remember how you're always whining about how easy these games are and everything? Well, this will humble your ass, bitch.
No, but seriously, the DLC is probably the most fun I had with this game, and it adds so much to the Coin Rush mode. Some of my favorites to play was the Gold Rush pack, which just has so many coins to collect, the Mystery Adventure pack, the Impossible pack, and a really cool one which was free for a limited time was the Gold Classics pack, which included a remade 1-1 and 1-2 from the original Super Mario Bros. Really cool. I really love the DLC. It's a cool idea and it's a shame that it's mostly overlooked. So, what's the final thoughts? Firstly, to answer the question at the start of the video, is New Super Mario Bros. 2 a bad game? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I genuinely enjoyed playing through this. And to answer the second question, does it deserve to be remembered more? Yeah, I think it does. I would highly recommend playing this game if you haven't played a new Super Mario Bros. Game in a few years, because that is without a doubt a big factor to why I enjoyed this game a lot more this time around. Understandably, if you play all of these games within close proximity, they are all going to blur together, and the one in the middle is likely going to be the one you remember the least. It only took me about 5 hours or so to beat the main game, not including the special worlds and playing through Coin Rush a bunch. And I hear a lot of people online say, that's just the one where you collect a bunch of coins, who cares? But I couldn't disagree more. The focus on coins makes this game so much fun. We are all used to just picking them up in other Mario games and not really caring too much, like, yeah, you get an extra life if you get 100, whatever. But in this game, that counter on the menu, the messages that pop up congratulating you for reaching a milestone, it makes me want to keep going back despite already beating all of the levels to collect more coins. And after 100%ing a Mario game, I usually won't go back for a while until I feel like replaying it from scratch. So clearly the gimmick works, at least for me, because I just want to keep coming back for more. Seeing everything turn golden is just so satisfying, and I wish more of the games leaned into this, even if it's just a separate mode that brings back the gold flower and gold enemies. And yeah, the short and simple levels, the bosses, the many reused assets really do stand out like a sore thumb at times. And again, there are times where this game shows that it can be creative, but more times than not, unfortunately, it just seems to play it safe. And for this video, and while playing through the game to capture footage, I really tried to keep the comparisons to other games to a minimum, but it was difficult at times, and it is an important factor you have to consider when making a game. And with this one releasing on a system that already had 3D Land and released only a few months before New Super Mario Bros. U, that basically looks exactly the same as the other games, it probably wasn't the best move for this game's overall reception. That doesn't make this game bad. I think this is a good game, but taking those other factors into account, it just struggles to make this game stand out on its own. But I don't think Nintendo give a flying shit. It sold 13 million copies, made them a bunch of money, and even outsold 3D Land.
Sunrise.